Inside, there's over 5,300 pounds of high explosives. But the casing, that's special. It's made of this incredibly dense, specialized steel alloy. That casing is what lets it punch through, reportedly, about 200 feet of reinforced concrete or rock before detonating.
200 feet, that's hard to even picture. So how does the B-2 drop this monster without losing its own stealth advantage? And how do you make sure the bomb survives hitting something that hard?
Good questions. The B-2 carries 2 of them internally, so they don't mess up its stealth profile. It drops them from high altitude, that 50,000 feet we mentioned. Gravity does most of the work initially, but the bomb has its own guidance, GPS, and an inertial navigation system to steer it right onto the target coordinates.
And for really deep targets.
Right, for the super deep ones, they might use what's called a multiple impact strategy. The first bomb basically drills a hole, clears the path a bit. Then a second bomb, maybe from the same B-2 or another one, follows right down that same hole to penetrate even deeper.
Like a 1-2 punch.
Exactly. And there have been reports, for instance, about its potential use against heavily fortified sites, like hypothetical nuclear facilities and places like Iran, Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan, places buried very deep. The engineering challenge you mentioned, ensuring it doesn't just shatter or detonate on impact, that was huge. Designing a casing strong enough for that penetration, but ensuring the fuse works correctly after it gets inside. That's incredibly complex physics and material science.
It really underscores what this system is designed for. So pulling back a bit, what are the bigger strategic implications here? What does having this B-2 MOP combo mean? And what are the downsides?
Strategically, it's a game changer, really. It gives the capability to credibly threaten targets that were previously thought untouchable. Think about something like Iran's Fordo facility, supposedly buried under 300 feet of mountain. Having the B-2 and MOP means you can, theoretically, hold even that kind of target at risk. That has a huge psychological effect on an adversary. It undermines their whole defensive strategy.
But does it just make them dig deeper?
That's definitely part of the equation, yes. It's an ongoing offense-defense race. But the downsides are significant too. The cost is just immense. The B-2 program cost nearly $45 billion to develop. Each plane is somewhere around $2 billion.
$2 billion per plane.
Yep. And the maintenance is intense. We're talking over 100 hours of maintenance for every single hour it flies. Plus, there aren't many of them. Only 19 are active right now. So it's an incredibly powerful, but very limited, very expensive asset. Though, the B-21 Raider is in development to eventually take over this role.
So the B-2 Spirit and the GBU-57 MOP, it's this really unique pairing of near invisibility and overwhelming force aimed at targets that seemed impossible to reach before.
It absolutely is. And maybe the thought to leave you with is this: consider the sheer strategic calculation behind developing and maintaining something so specialized, so expensive.